We're back again for more of our Essen Bonanza Explosion blog coverage, brought to you by our amazing sponsors down below. Be sure to give them some love on those clickables. Right now, we're about to talk to Alessandro about the new game Dragon Castle. Hey,
Yes.
what is Dragon Castle?
Dragon Castle is a game for 2 to 4 players based on the solitaire version of Mahjong, the one many of you may have played on your PC or mobile devices. You have to take a couple of identical tiles from that pile of from that stack of tiles. And in our game, differently from the computer game, you actually do something with the tiles that you take. You place them on your board to build your own castle. Your goal is to make sets of at least 4 tiles of the same color. If you do so, you must flip them to make points. The more tiles you flip at the same time, so the bigger the set, the more points you make. When you when you flip a set of tiles, you can also build a shrine on top of one of those tiles. The shrines give you bonus points at the end of the game, but they also prevent you from placing anything else on top of that tile. So they also limit your building possibilities, so you have to place them in a smart way. There are actually, you always take one action each round, but you can choose among 3 actions. One is, like in Mahjong, to take 1 tile with an additional limit in our game that 1 tile must come from the top floor of the Dragon Castle, the central stack of tiles. And then a second identical tile, so with the same exact symbol. This is the first action. The second action is to take 1 tile from the top of the Dragon Castle and to add 1 shrine to your pool so that you can then build it when you flip tiles. The third action instead is to take 1 tile from the top of the Dragon Castle and discard it to make 1 point. You keep taking 1 action each round and you play in turns. When only the bottom floor of the Dragon Castle is remaining, a 4th action is made available, and that is to take one of those round tokens down there. There's countdown tokens. They are worth 2 points each. And since 2 points is also the same number of points that you collect when you flip a set of 4 tiles, you can understand that to take 4 tiles you need at least 2 actions. With 1 single action, taking a countdown token, you make the same amount of points. So it's a quick way to make points. And when that track is, when the final token of the track is taken, the final round of the game is triggered. After the end of the game, the player with the most points wins.
And this is 2 players?
It's for 2 to 4 players actually. What I just explained was just the basic version of the game. In the additional, advanced version of the game, we also have 1 of these cards and 1 of these cards. There are 2 decks of cards. The spirit cards are, you only draw 1 at the beginning of the game and it stays in play for the whole game, and all players can use it once per round. It's a special ability that the player can use in addition to the regular action. So for example, with this one, you can discard 1 tile from the castle, so that, for example, you can access a tile that was previously blocked. To use these powers you have to pay a cost, and that is to discard 1 shrine from your pool or 1 face-up tile from your board. Then the dragon cards instead are also, for in this case you only draw 1 at the beginning and it's in play for the whole game for all players, and they are an additional way to make points at the end of the game. For example, let's find an easy one. This one. With this one you gain 1 additional point for each shrine that you have built on the edge spaces of your board. So with this dragon in play you will tend to build many shrines on the edges, but with this other dragon, for example, you gain 2 points for each different kind of tile that you have left face up at the end of the game. So with that dragon in play, you will have many face-up tiles on the board left at the end of the game, which is not something you usually do. So the dragons can really play, you can really change the way you play the game, and also the spirit cards. And on top of that, we also have many different castle layouts we propose into the rulebook, and we also encourage players to try and experiment and create their own, because changing the shape and the number of tiles at the different layers of the castles also greatly changes the flow of the game. So even if it's a very simple game, as you have seen, it is really deep with a lot of strategies, and it can always be different if you mix and match the various options we give you to change the things you can do.
All right, very, very cool. That is Dragon Castle. It looks like it might be your cup of tea. Be sure to check that one out. If you're enjoying this Essen coverage, please be sure to click on that subscribe button down below. And as always, thanks for your time, YouTube.